For more from the investment conference, we cross to SABC News' economics reporter Liabo Setho in Sandton. Liabo, over to you.
Thank you very much. We're still at the 5th South Africa Investment Conference, where earlier on we heard President Cyril Ramaphosa addressing delegates and formally declaring this conference opened. It is the 5th installment of the investment conference, and from what we are told is that South Africa, or the country and the government, has officially managed to meet their target of 1.2 trillion rand. Messages have been coming through on our phones. Looks like more than 40 companies have already made investment pledges. We're yet to find out if these are new investment or recurring investments, but as things stand now, what I can share with you is that more than 40, in fact 47 companies have already made pledges ranging from education sector, food, transport. And speaking of transport and connectivity, on the floor just below where the president was making his speech is the exhibition center, and as is always custom, we make sure that we speak to the exhibitors and the companies that are exhibiting here to get their sense of the conference itself and also to understand their business a little bit better. And in this instance, we are looking at connectivity in the taxi industry, and I'm sure you're trying to match the two together, but it's actually a thing that is happening. A company called Taxi that offers a free Wi-Fi to the taxi industry. Brian Mdluli, the founder of it and CEO, tells me that in fact every day they wire close to connect about 100 to 150 taxis daily, and this leads to connectivity and some other interesting important things and interesting facts. Is that he says this particular taxi that is behind us, when it goes home, once it parks where the driver or the owner lives, a lot of people come to the gate to try and get that connectivity, the free 15 minutes that's quite left. And I found that was quite interesting, but I'm not going to tell you because I don't know much about that, but Brian Mdluli is going to tell you more about that and why taxi and how the concept came about of trying to reach the taxi commuters and making sure that they are connected. Welcome to SABC News. Please do share with us about Why Taxi.
No, thank you very much. The Why Taxi project started in 2012. It was officially launched in 2014. And to date, we've now partnered with Vodacom, Toyota South Africa, as well as Netstar. We've installed over 48,000 of the taxis nationwide. To date, we've also activated about 4,000 of these taxis. And as you said earlier, we're growing at about 100 to 120 vehicles every single day. So it's a growing network. It connects thousands and hundreds of thousands of people with free Wi-Fi. This is pure internet. We don't take any people's private information. We don't want you to register. You just come into the taxi, you click on one button, you view a message from one of our partner brands, and we give you up to a gig of data free every single day. Yeah. So we're taking the industry into the wired world, and there's a taxi within 100 meters of where you are all the time. So we're going to get free internet to the South Africans through the taxi industry. Yeah. Tell
me about how you've seen these change the lives of commuters as well as the owners, the taxi owners, because this is business. I can imagine that if I have a choice to take a taxi that has a Wi-Fi and one that doesn't have, I'll obviously go for the one that has Wi-Fi because I want to remain always connected.
Absolutely. The commuters are now starting to look for the taxis that are connected. That improves the daily takings of the owner. So everybody wins. The commuters are getting free internet. The owners of the vehicles are actually getting more business because the commuters are now actively choosing the taxis with Wi-Fi. So we have a big target ahead of us. We have a big pressure from the industry to get as many of these taxis wired as possible because they're now seeing the benefit of additional people that want to come back into the taxis. It turns your 40-minute commute to and from work into productive time. And the wonderful part, and I wanted to say this before we end our interview, is that we are seeing very little traffic on social media. The users of this particular platform are using the internet for what the internet is intended for, pure information. And we are very proud to be bringing this project together with the Vodacom team.
I tried very much to explain to our viewers about how this taxi, when it gets home, how it serves for another 15 minutes a whole host of other people in the community. Maybe you can relay the story a little bit better than I did.
You did very well, yeah. So this particular taxi is in Tipkloof, and the driver tells us, because when you switch off the taxi, the Wi-Fi in the taxi remains on for another 15 minutes. You can literally pick up the signal from the taxi up to 20 meters away. So it acts as a community hotspot for the last 15 minutes every day. And the driver says every time he parks and he closes the gate, he looks outside, he finds all of these young guys quickly downloading the last 15 minutes because they get a free gig in that last 15 minutes. So it's a very heartwarming story. And we're hoping that maybe we can even extend that to 30 minutes so that the taxis become beacons of connectivity in the communities that they live in.
Brian Mtluli, thank you so much for speaking to us. I really appreciate it. A heartwarming story, and one of those stories that show you about things that actually work and what businesses are doing out there to make sure that they serve the community. When you look at the taxi industry, you have about 240,000 taxis on the road every single day. Now imagine there's 30 million rand industry having a Wi-Fi and people getting connected, because the future does lie in connectivity. And I thought that I'd make my way here to the Companies and Intellectual Property Commission, or the CIPC. If you've registered your small business, you would know this company very well, because they're instrumental in making sure that you get your business certificate, you get your BEE certificate and all of that. With them, I really want to understand about how how people have been registering businesses over the last 5 years. When we saw the first competition, or rather the first conference of investment conference happening, which was in October the 26th in 2018. And we're here with Mr. Matekha. Thank you so much for joining us, and welcome to SABC News. I've been telling our viewers here that I am quite, I want to know about how the business is looking. Are you seeing more and more people registering for companies, and which companies are those? And over the last 5 years, when this conference first started, have you seen any interesting trends?
Thank you very much, and good day to the viewers. There has indeed been a marked increase in terms of the number of registrations, in particular the private companies. Yes, there's also been an increase in terms of the external companies. So that's encouraging in terms of the interest of formalization by various players in the marketplace. Yes.
And do you see those businesses actually stay in the game? Because it is said that most businesses, in fact, go out of business within the first 1 or 3 years of being formed or registered. Is the deregistration, does it talk to the numbers that are being bandied about the closure of businesses?
I must say the deregistration process is just a compliance tool that we use to remind persons who own businesses that they need to have their annual renewals done. It's not a punitive action that we take. So if, for example, a company is owing annual returns and they pay before final deregistration, that brings them back into business. However, I think it's an issue of compliance that just needs to be raised. So we just have to ramp up compliance so that persons who own entities can know that there are responsibilities when owning an entity. Most importantly, we need to know who are the current directors, what are the addresses currently, and so that we can have credible registers in our records.
And of course, there's always the benefit of having a business that is registered compared to one that is not registered.
That's true, yes.
Right. Mr. Matekha, thank you so much. I wish I could have engaged you a lot more about what you do at the CIPC. These are the guys that you get in touch with when you want to register your small business or any business or partnership to remain compliant and to be able to get some of the benefits that you do get when you are a registered and legal company. We are going to be speaking to more role players who are here at the 5th South Africa Investment Conference. A little later on, I'll be speaking to the Black Business Council as well as one SME, just to get their sense of the last 5 years and also what the President said to us earlier on. And with that, I'm handing over back to you in studio.
Thank you very much, Liabo, reporting live from the investment conference. I love the fact that there's a taxi parked in the middle of the Sandton Convention Centre.